What's that? What's that? Oh shit, there it is again. There it is. There it is.
Foots.
Most Bigfoot encounter clips share a terrifying trait. They happen when we least expect it, like a muscular beast staring directly into a hidden trail cam, or massive handprints left by something crouching in the dark. If you saw this, would you run? This footage comes from the YouTube channel Squatch Me Now, uploaded on September 8, 2019. A woman was turkey hunting deep in the woods when she captured footage of two large, dark figures moving through the trees. Footage that viewers have been debating ever since.
Guys, I was out here hunting, and I'm so startled right now. I think I may have stumbled across a Bigfoot. I'm just not sure. I'm so startled right now. I'm so startled. It looks like there's two Bigfoots. I don't know. It looks like he's got a dead deer in his arm or something. I'm not sure. Oh my god, I think he sees me. I have to go.
The woman was alone in the woods when she noticed something unusual moving among the trees ahead of her. Two large, dark figures were visible in the distance, moving slowly through the forest. Their size and shape did not match anything she expected to see. One figure appeared to be carrying something large and heavy. It moved toward a tree, stopped, and set the object down near the base before going still. Both figures remained near the tree line for a short time, partially hidden by brush and trunks. The woman stayed back and kept filming. The two shapes lingered briefly, then began moving again, not toward her, but deeper into the woods. Within moments, they were no longer visible. No clear identification was made. The shapes were large, dark, and upright. The clip was later analyzed by the channel Thinker Thunker, which examined the figure's size and movement in detail, bringing the footage to a wider audience. The act of carrying something and setting it down near a tree is what makes this clip stand out. What do you think the figure was carrying? And does that detail change how you read the rest of the footage? Someone was walking through a forest when something caught their attention in the distance. As they focused on the shape, it became increasingly visible. A large, hair-covered figure was moving through the trees at a steady pace. It did not stop. It did not react to the person nearby. It continued walking as if completely unaware of being watched. Most clips of this kind are blurry or shot from too far away to make out any real detail. This one was different. The shape of the figure was visible enough to study. What's harder to explain here isn't just what the figure looks like, it's how it moves. Something that size, walking that calmly without reacting to a person nearby, doesn't fit neatly into any easy category. Do you think the behavior makes this more convincing or less? A solo hiker in the forests of Alaska spotted a massive dark shape moving silently through heavy brush in broad daylight. He pulled out his phone and started recording. The thick undergrowth made a clear view impossible.
Oh shit, there it is again. There it is. There it is. Oh my god. There it is. There it is. It's right behind that tree. Oh my god, I'm tripping out. I'm shaking. Jesus, where is it? I have no idea where I went. My heart's pounding a million miles an hour. I saw it down by the creek. Shit.
The footage shows only brief glimpses. A large, bulky form weaving between trees, branches snapping, shadowy movement appearing and vanishing almost instantly. The figure never fully stepped into the open. It pushed through the dense cover and disappeared before anything could be confirmed. Something that size moving that quietly through thick brush doesn't have an obvious explanation. What do you think the hiker actually saw out there? This footage comes from British Columbia. A group of amateur researchers set up trail cameras in a remote forested area with the goal of documenting rare wildlife. They captured something rare, just not what they were looking for. The short clip shows a large, upright figure with a heavily muscular build. It comes around the corner and looks toward the camera from partially behind a tree, then slowly pulls back. The way the figure moves drew immediate attention. Researchers focused on its muscle definition, visible across the chest, shoulders, and arms. The overall frame and build did not resemble a person in a costume. Its face also stood out. The features matched how the subject is commonly described in reported encounters. A mix of human and primate characteristics, distinct enough to study frame by frame. Viewers also noted the behavior. The figure stepped out from behind the tree with its eyes already directed at the camera. It did not stumble into frame. The movement appeared deliberate, as if it already knew the camera was there. The researchers placed these cameras to find rare animals. Based on what was captured, some believe they may have set up equipment inside territory that was already occupied by something they were not prepared to find. Some things in this footage are difficult to explain with simple answers. What detail stands out most to you? The way it looks or the way it moves? A team of investigators deep in the Appalachian wilderness pointed their flashlight at a clearing and found something standing there. Tall, motionless, and unlike any known animal. The figure made no sound. The investigators made no sound. The light held on it briefly before it faded back into the darkness. In one frame, the shape appeared to have horns. The footage was too unclear to confirm it, but the detail was enough to stop viewers mid-watch. The Appalachians have a long history of strange sightings. What this team captured fits that pattern. Something just visible enough to unsettle, but not clear enough to explain. Some details in footage like this are harder to dismiss than others. What do you think was standing in that clearing? While hiking a remote rocky trail in British Columbia, a man spotted a towering dark figure moving through the dense forest beside the path. The shape was large and upright, weaving through thick brush just beyond the tree line. He grabbed his phone and recorded a shaky 30-second clip. Brief glimpses were all the footage captured before the figure moved on silently. No confirmation was ever made, but the size and movement of what he filmed have kept this clip in circulation among those who follow reports out of the Canadian backcountry. Something that large moving that quietly through dense brush is worth a second look. What do you think he came across on that trail? Two elk hunters were driving through a snowy forest road toward their usual hunting spot when they noticed a tall, dark figure moving along the roadside. It was there for only a moment. Before they could process what they were seeing, the figure turned and disappeared into the thick brush beside the trees.
Right on the side of the road there. Nice. I bet we might see some. They were here earlier today. What's that? What's that? Oh my God. What was that? Get out of here. Holy shit.
The hunters tried to get a better look, but it was already gone, swallowed by the snowy forest without a trace. A tall, upright figure that vanishes that quickly into dense brush doesn't leave much to work with. What do you think they saw on that road? One of the world's most respected naturalists turned his attention to the mystery of the Yeti, a creature long said to inhabit the Himalayan mountains. He explored whether ancient animals like Gigantopithecus could be the origin behind the legend, with accounts of enormous ape-like beings passed down across generations in the region. The naturalist presented two pieces of evidence suggesting something in these mountains remains unexplained.
There is a real possibility that there might be something in the abominable snowman mystery. There is a famous photograph of a footprint, a very big footprint, in the snow that was taken, I think, at 18,000 feet or something in the Himalayas on a snowfield in the 30s by a famous mountaineer called Eric Shipton. People are suggesting that maybe it was a folk, but nonetheless there was a trail of these prints which went right across the snowfield and disappeared onto rocks on the other side. And I don't think you make all those jokes at 18,000 feet. But perhaps even more intriguing and certainly more reliable is that in the 30s there was a German called von Königswald, and he went into a Chinese chemist, apothecary's shop. And there are all sorts of traditional medicines kept in those shops. And among them were some fossil teeth, or subfossil teeth. And amongst those were huge molars, about that size, about 4 or 5 times the size of our molars. I mean, it had to be the molar of a giant ape. And he got about 4 or 5 of them. But the search then went on for a number of years, and eventually they found a bit of a jaw, just this lower part here, which had these teeth in, of a giant ape that's would stand, if it was blown up in proportion, something like 10 feet to 12 feet tall. Immense,
yeah.
You know? So one did exist. I mean, if people here, I dare say, have walked in the Himalayas. If you have, you know that the distances are immense. And you know, too, that an animal that lives there will be well aware of your presence before you know where it is, and that it may keep out of the way. So there are persistent legends up amongst the Sherpas, like in the high mountains in the Himalayas. And I just have a suspicion there certainly was one, a giant ape there, and I think it's not impossible that one will survive.
So the Yeti could be hiding out somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether something descended from that ancient ape still moves through those mountains is a question that has never been fully closed, and continues to draw interest from scientists and explorers alike. A creature that large, in terrain, that vast, avoiding human contact for centuries isn't as far-fetched as it might seem. Do you think something is still out there in those mountains? Or did it disappear long before we started looking? 2 friends were exploring a swampy area when they noticed a dark figure watching them from the tree line. They started recording. The shape moved in and out from behind a large tree, appearing briefly, then pulling back into the thick brush. It repeated this several times. Whatever it was, it stayed hidden and kept watching. The 2 never got a clear look. They left the area confused and unsettled, with no answer for what had been silently observing them from the swamp. Something that stays hidden but keeps watching behaves differently from most animals. What do you think was out there in those trees? A homeowner in Tennessee set up a camera to record sounds coming from the woods behind his property. He had spent time backpacking in the Appalachians and was already familiar with reports of strange sounds in the region. What he captured that night was different from anything he had heard before. The recording picked up knocking from the tree line, coyotes, and what sounded like a distressed raccoon. Around 28 seconds, the knocking intensified. Then at 1:14, a deep growl came through, something he had no category for. In person, the knocking had sounded like chains hitting trees or wood snapping, but with an oddly organic quality his phone couldn't fully capture. About a month earlier, he had seen red orbs near the tree line, but he made no firm claims about any of it. Whatever was out there that night left him shaken enough to share the footage. Some sounds recorded near rural wood lines don't match any known animal, and when knocking, growling, and strange lights all show up in the same spot, it's hard to dismiss. What do you think made that sound at 1:14? M.K. Davis is a longtime Bigfoot researcher known for analyzing audio and video footage from remote wilderness areas. In this video, he plays back a series of vocalizations he recorded during one of those sessions. Sounds he believes may not match any known wildlife.
Now let's listen to the audio portion, greatly amplified, so that we could listen and hear some of the fainter words or expressions.
The sounds included unusual tones and patterns that he found difficult to attribute to common animals. He amplified portions of the audio to make fainter elements more audible and walked through what he heard. He did not make definitive claims. He presented the footage and audio as material worth examining, leaving the interpretation open. Some of the behaviors captured, moving backwards into light, interacting with objects, possibly detecting infrared, don't fit typical wildlife patterns. What do you think was on that footage? A group of explorers headed into the woods at night with only cameras and lights. At some point during the walk, one member stopped and directed his light toward the ground. What he found brought the entire group to a halt.
Somebody said that there's a guy on here saying they ain't seen prints yet.
Pressed into the soft earth was a large footprint, noticeably bigger than any human foot in the group. Looking closer, they found two prints side by side, along with what appeared to be a large handprint nearby. The positioning suggested something massive had crouched down in that exact spot.
What? I mean,
Can you put your foot beside of it?
oh my God.
It's definitely bigger than our foot wide.
One member placed his foot next to the print for comparison. It was wider and longer by a clear margin. The group examined the area, but found no explanation for what had made them or how recently. Whatever had been standing there had moved on before they arrived. Large prints with a nearby handprint in that position are hard to explain as a hoax or a misread. What do you think was crouching in those woods that night? A man was hiking alone in the woods when he came across something he wasn't expecting. His footage was later shared online, where it drew significant attention and debate. At some point on the trail, he spotted a large figure in the trees. The creature was massive, covered in thick matted fur, and had a long, dog-like snout. He caught a brief look before backing away. Some pointed to known animals. Others raised the possibility of something harder to explain. A large, fur-covered figure with a dog-like snout doesn't fit any common wildlife description. What do you think he saw out there? Two friends were out in the woods in Washington state when they heard something stop them cold. Their footage was shared online and quickly caught the attention of viewers familiar with similar reports from the Pacific Northwest.
Hell, like that. What the hell would that be? Wow.
Without warning, a loud, raw, screaming sound came from the tree line. It echoed through the forest and didn't fade quickly. The two stopped and listened. What struck them most was the volume. They felt it was far beyond what any common local animal could produce, and that whatever made it would need an unusually large lung capacity. Nothing appeared. A scream that loud with no visible source and no match to local wildlife is difficult to file away. What do you think was in those trees? Early in the year, following a series of heavy snowstorms, a set of unusually large footprints was found in the woods of New York. The discovery drew attention from both locals and wildlife experts trying to make sense of what left them. The prints looked human in shape, but were far too large to belong to an ordinary person. Wildlife experts weighed in, with some suggesting a bear as the likely source. However, the length, shape, and overall appearance didn't align cleanly with typical bear tracks. No definitive identification was made. Snow can distort tracks in ways that make them look much larger or stranger than the original. Do you think that's what happened here, or was something else moving through those woods? In 2008, a group of hunters on the outskirts of Salakard, Russia captured footage that was later shared online by a Reddit user. While tracking game, they came across something that had nothing to do with their hunt. In the snow ahead of them, they found a set of enormous footprints. The size exceeded anything consistent with a known local animal or a normal human foot. Some argued the size alone ruled out any common explanation. Others suggested a hoax could not be dismissed. Oversized prints in a remote area with no witness and no creature in sight leave a lot of room for doubt, on both sides. What do you think made those tracks? A woman said she spotted something in the woods while out walking. After the initial shock, she managed to take a photo before leaving the area. Whether the image shows what she believed it did remains open. What do you think she photographed? A man was walking through the woods during the day when something off the trail caught his attention. His footage was later shared online, where it sparked a familiar debate among viewers and researchers alike. Just off the path, he found a large structure built from branches, logs, and debris, arranged against the surrounding trees in a way that didn't look accidental. He recorded it, then chose to leave. He was aware that whatever had built it might still be in the area. Structures like this have shown up in documented research for years, and no one has settled on a single explanation. What do you think built this one? On Christmas Day in 2014, a family in Minnesota was gathered at home when something outside caught their attention. While spending time indoors, the family noticed a large, dark figure moving along the distant tree line. They began filming. In the footage, the figure appeared to move between snow-covered trees before passing out of view. The clip was brief and the figure never came closer. The footage has been discussed and disputed online ever since, with no firm conclusion reached on either side. A large, dark shape moving through a tree line on a quiet winter day is easy to second-guess, but also hard to ignore. What do you think the family filmed that afternoon? On July 18, 2017, a woman named Lee Ann recorded a series of unusual vocalizations deep in the forests of southern Ontario. According to her account, the sounds continued for over an hour. The clip captures a few minutes of those recordings. The calls were unlike anything she could attribute to common local wildlife, and she believed they may be connected to Bigfoot activity in the area. She shared the footage and left the interpretation to her viewers. Vocalizations that last over an hour in a remote forest and don't match known wildlife are hard to dismiss outright. What do you think was making those sounds? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.